start this session, working session number 3, and that is on governance, Sushasit or well-governed Goa. And I have pleasure in inviting the first speaker, Advocate Cleofato Almeida Coutinho, practicing advocate, faculty of J.R. Kare College of Law and former member of Goa Law Commission. Please.
Dr. Mashelkar, Damodar Bab, distinguished members of the audience. Good governance is perhaps the single most important factor in promoting development. And before Albertina asks me, whose development? And what I mean by development, all that I say is in making this place a better place to live in. In fact, even under the 10th plan, the total emphasis is on good governance. When it comes to state apparatus, we all know that the public functionaries, or rather we all see the public functionaries as incompetent. We find them corrupt. We find them not responsive to our needs. And we find that they are a disgrace to administration. But look at it the other way. The same people under a competent election management system are conducting elections in a best possible manner. We are proud of our election system. It is the same Mamladar, the same Deputy Collector, the same Collector who acts in a manner that is responsible, who acts in a manner that is accountable, and we then say that we have the best election system in our country. Now that is because the Election Commission of India sees to it that the Deputy Collector, the Collector, the Mamladar, the Talati, everybody functions in a manner that is accountable. Look at it the other way around. When the State Election Commission conducts elections for municipalities and panchayats, the amount of accountability is not as much as the Lok Sabha elections and the municipal and the assembly elections. So somewhere down the line, we understand that we have excellent administrative infrastructure. We have infrastructure that is good, but we do not have accountability. We do not see to it that the administration is responsive to our needs because they are not responsible, and or because resources are not made available to them. Now this is the problem of our system. Last year has been the year of accountability. We have been demanding that every organ of our government is accountable, seeing to it that it is accountable. We wanted a Lokpal bill. We wanted a Lok Ayukta bill. We wanted redressal machinery. So in every system, in every sphere, we wanted the government to be accountable. And we thought that the best way to do it is by making laws. And that is why we wanted a Lokpal law. We wanted a Lok Ayukta law. Then we want a redressal machinery law. We want a Whistleblowers Act. That is to say that, as though to say that law is panacea for all evils. I don't say that law is panacea for all evils. But we are a hard situation. We have led to such a hard situation that this hard situation shall require laws. Hard situation always tend to bad laws. Bad laws come because of hard situations. And I would submit also that we would require a number of laws. Dr. Mashelkar's report has made various recommendations on good governance. Some of these recommendations say on right to information, Lok Ayuktas, Panchayat Raj institutions, then redressal machinery, delivery of public services. Now, various recommendations have been made. I would submit that in many of these areas, we will require specialized laws. And we would require laws for a simple reason that we have realized from right to information that if punishment is given or if punishment is kept for the public authorities, that works. It works. And right to information seems to be working because of the punishment that is as a penalty that is kept with the authority, and that is enforced by recovery from him. Insofar as right to information, I do not want to enter the area as per the recommendations, but the roadmap, the vision document talks of creating a database and combining various departments for one database. According to me, right to information for a place like Goa, we should not be asking for information. Iris Rodriguez should not ask what is the qualification of the information commissioner. It should be available on the website. One. In fact, Section 4 of the Right to Information Act says that every information should be available or should be made available. Now, I don't see for us in Goa why it should be difficult for information to get information. Sometimes it so happens that you have to wait for 30 days, then for another 30 days, another 30 days, you have to wait for sometimes 3 months to get information. Certain other information should be available on the web, should be available with all departments, should be displayed on notice boards. And as far as right to information is concerned, the question of having two commissioners, one commissioner, we are simply creating one more department. But at least as far as right to information, I don't see why a small state like Goa, we should be asking for information. It should be all available on the web. But right to information has given us another direction. The direction is like this. The vision document speaks of delivery of services, that is yes, that is of improving public delivery mechanisms. One area is public delivery mechanisms. See, what has happened is, in the state of Delhi, got a law called it is called the Delhi Right of Citizens to Time-Bound Delivery of Services Act 2011. That means all services, all goods, they have what the citizens are entitled to would be available like information. Like if you want a ration card, you want electricity connection, you want a house construction license, any license, you want a license to open a bar, you want a license to open a hotel, you want a license, say, to start an entertainment place. For each of these, there is a schedule for which a time frame is fixed. And like the Right to Information Act, the public authority is responsible to give you that service, those goods which you are entitled to. And in case you don't get those goods, the officer concerned is fined, just like the Right to Information. And thereafter there is another provision which talks of fixing a responsibility, and further compensation could be collected from the person concerned. So I would recommend that at least for us, a small place like Goa, we should also have such a law like the Citizens Time-Bound Delivery of Services and Goods Act 2011, like the one which is there in Delhi. We should also have such law. See, the state of Delhi has brought in 32 services, and the 32 services include electricity connection, entry to eatery license, chemist license, eco club grant, schools, colleges, starting of colleges, opening of colleges, permission to open colleges, permission to open schools, issuance of ration cards, births and deaths. Almost 32 areas are covered to get time-bound service. Now, I would say a small state like Goa should also have such laws, and it is only when you make laws and impose punishments that we would be in a position to get the services that we get, that we ought to get. The second area of in good governance, as highlighted by the vision document, is the Lok Ayukta area. Now we have a Lok Ayukta Act that is already in force. We may be framing rules. The Lok Ayukta will be in place after maybe a few days or a few weeks from now. But as far as our Lok Ayukta is concerned, I find that it requires drastic changes. It requires to be amended to have a separate wing for prosecution, a separate wing of investigation. It should be, there should be special courts so that offenders are booked within a specific time frame. The next area also in the Lok Ayukta is, who the Lok Ayukta is should be laid down under the rules. We all speak highly of Santosh Hegde in Karnataka. Now after Santosh Hegde in Karnataka, there is no Lok Ayukta. There is no Lok Ayukta. There have been 2 Lok Ayuktas who have been Supreme Court judges who had to resign because the choice of the person was not correct. The Upa Lok Ayukta, his selection has also been set aside because the High Court felt that the government has no business to choose the Lok Ayukta, that the choice should be with the High Court. Now that is because it is not that the institution is bad, but the person who is chosen should be such that he should have confidence of the people. Now I would say that our Lok Ayukta there also requires those changes have to be made, whereby the choice of the person should not be in the hands of the government. Another area spoken about by the document is the area of land and good governance. See, in the morning session, there has been a lot of emphasis on contract farming. The vision document also speaks about contract farming. I think it was Daryl Pereira who spoke about the fear of tenants losing land, the fear of people losing the agricultural land, and as a result of which the lands are not being cultivated, lands are kept fallow. See, it is right that it is not viable to have agricultural operations in the form we have our fields. They are too small holdings, and as Daryl rightly pointed out, that they have to be big farms for agriculture to be viable. We have the Agricultural Tenancy Act, which gave ownership to tenants, but the tenants are not cultivating. Now if the tenants are not cultivating, somebody must cultivate. And if somebody must cultivate, there must be another law which gives them the confidence that these lands can be cultivated. And Daryl's suggestion of contract farming is extremely good, that you should have another law which says that you can use it for n number of period and give it back to the tenant, to the landlord, after the contract period is over. So for that we will require one more law which permits contract tenancy, contract farming. See, it is like flats. You will find hundreds of flats in Margao, thousands of flats in Panjim, just lying vacant because there is a fear that if you give a flat out you will not get it back. Similarly is the position of shops. Hundreds of shops will be closed because you fear that the moment you give it, you will not get it back. So you decide to keep your flat locked, you decide to keep your shop locked, and in the same manner you decide to keep the fields fallow. Now we in Goa have just passed a law which speaks about land will not be sold to persons other than farmers. See, according to me, this is a retrograde law. You must exploit your land. Whether it is a Goan who exploits your land or a non-Goan who exploits your land, see to it that land is put to use. I would say keeping land fallow is criminal. But see to it that land which is agricultural land is not converted for non-agricultural purpose. The fear is that it shall not be used for agriculture. We are being very emotional with our land, that it should not be used for purposes other than agriculture. But enforce that part. Don't say that it is okay if a farmer buys it and keeps it fallow. See, I would say it's a criminal waste of our resource to say that you cannot put it to use. Now, let us take it this way. If, say, Tata or Reliance takes land and puts it for agricultural use, somebody will say that I am advocating corporates in agricultural sector. No, but finally the land would be used to agricultural use. If somebody else can put it for agricultural use, perfect. But why should land be just kept fallow? So I would suggest that somewhere here we should be clear about our land use. One more area which the vision document has spoken is in the area of real estate sector. They are right. For almost 30-40 years now, the housing industry has boomed and we do not have a real estate sector law. See, flats are bought, apartments are bought, shops are bought, but no transfer has been effected to the purchasers. How the real estate functions without any law, we do not know. Now, basically we require a law not only to regulate the relationship between the buyer of flats and the builders, but also to see to it that the builders build it in terms of the regulations in force. See, at the central level and in various states they have recommended the real estate law by way of a regulator. That means instead of various, now I think when you build flats, build houses, you have to go through at least a dozen authorities. You have to now go to a third or rather a fourth or a fifth or a 13th authority which is called a real estate regulator. I would not recommend such a regulator, but I would recommend that the real estate sector must be regulated again by way of punishment. That means if there is a violation, you get punished for it. And punishment must be heavy. So basically, instead of having a regulator-based law, the vision document recommends a law, but I am also adding to it that the law must be a punishment-based law, not a regulator-based law. There are two other areas which the vision document speaks about. One is strengthening of the Panchayat Raj institutions. And I find that when we come to Panchayat Raj institutions, there is a slight dichotomy in the recommendations because in various sections, the vision document speaks about giving powers to the panchayats, gram sabhas But in one area they speak about Mapsa, Porvorim, Panjim, Bamboli, Verna, Daboli, Vasco, Nuve and Margaon becoming a contiguous area that resembles a single city. And the vision document speaks about in this area, Panchayat powers must go to the planning authority. See, if we look at the way currently the panchayats have been functioning, I would recommend that this system of planning authority building is perfect. As long as the panchayats get their revenue, there should not be a problem insofar as giving this power to the planning authority. But how it works, maybe we will have to work out, because as I was just talking to a friend, the Gram Sabha is also required to be strengthened. Today I find in my village and many neighboring villages, say in my village I have 9 panchayats, members of panchayat 9. At every election it is about 40 people who lose, and for the past 10 years the 40 people who lose constitute the Gram Sabha, and the people who win are the members of the panchayat. Now I can't understand how the people who have lost the election would decide on against the people who have won the election. Now I am not saying that Gram Sabhas must not be given powers, but this system will have to be strengthened, whereby say a decision that will have to be taken by say at least 30, 40, 50% of the members of the panchayat, members of in every village, and then only maybe it will have some effect, or it can overrule a decision of the panchayat. The next area I would like to also make a mention, with the permission of the chair, is the question of fiscal responsibility. You know, in this area I think this is a very serious matter. Our budget making both at the center and state level, the deficit, the revenue deficit is increasing. In 2003, the central government brought a law called the Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act, whereby the finance minister had to go to the parliament and tell the parliament in case the fiscal deficit increases. And it was felt that by 2009, the fiscal deficit would be less than 3%. That has not happened. Now that has not happened because we have not implemented the law. Now I would recommend that even at our state level, at the state level, and that is a recommendation of the 10th plan, that every state must have a Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act, whereby the finance minister, whether it is central level or state level, is unable to distribute sops like color TVs in Tamil Nadu, rice at 1 rupee per kilo in Andhra. See, in Goa we have so many schemes whereby people who should not benefit are getting benefit. Now this must stop, and this must stop by way of a law. A law made by the state legislature would at least be binding on the finance minister, if not on others. So of course the law, the Fiscal Responsibility Act is like a pact between the drunk husband and a wife, where she would give him his quota and tell him that if you exceed the quota, you have to take my permission, and the key of the cupboard is kept with him only. Because finally we will find the finance minister can go back to the assembly, finance minister can go back to parliament and get the quota increased. But then this has to be done, that at least that is a minimum that the finance minister at the state level and the central level will have to do. With these few words, I end my presentation. Thank you.